Before my father met my mother, he lived with a woman that could not deliver, for she was barren. When my father got married to my mother, he asked Our Lady Mary for a child. He feared what happened in his previous life. In the end, Our Lady Mary enabled him to have a boy, and I was born. Immediately my parent consecrated me to Our Lady Mary when I was still a child, and every night my father was telling me, "My son, be careful, one day the devil will come to ask you to serve him. But don't accept his offer." My parent decided that I will serve God as a priest. One night my father was away. I felt like sleeping on my mother's bed. I don't know what happened, but I had sexual contact with my mother. As a result of incest, my gifts were activated. While my father warned me about the visit of the devil, every day in the night when I look at the moon, I saw inside the moon another world, different from ours. Every night in the moon I was seeing a mysterious kingdom surrounded by a wall, and this kingdom had an outer court, where women were selling stuff, and every night I observed and saw that in this mysterious kingdom there was a man dressed in royal garment that was riding a white horse arriving at the outer court of the kingdom. He was greeting the people that were selling in the outer court of the kingdom. He was actually the king of this lunar kingdom. When he was entering the gate of the kingdom, everybody was eager to greet the king. And every night when I observed this kingdom, a woman that looked like a queen came out the kingdom, in order to do shopping in the outer court of the kingdom, and people called her the king mother. This queen, who was the mother of the king, was called the Lady of the Moon. She is also called the Queen of Heaven and Our Lady Mary. Every night I watched in the moon this queen that was coming and was seating at the edge of the moon, as if there was a bench that was there, and she was looking at the earth and observing me. Every night the Queen of the Moon was observing me as if she was expecting something from me, though she never said anything. I came to this world thanks to her intervention. The last time she appeared in the moon to watch me was on the eve of my father's sickness. He was shot by the witches of the village. Since he was barricaded, the ammunition went on to hit my mother, who got sick and turned mad. When my father in the village called in the city and learned that my mother is sick and has turned mad, he was silent. He knew that the bullet that was meant to kill him has reached my mother. He decided to die instead of my mother. As a result, my father got sick and turned mad before he died and my mother recovered. My father in the village used to tell me, "One day the devil will come to visit you and ask you to serve him," but he never told me in which way he will come and who is the devil. He said, "Even if I and your mother were dead and he asked you to bring us back to life, you must refuse." It was after the death of my parent that I joined my sister in the capital and went to serve in the parish. I was 14 years old. It was during my baptism by sprinkling that for the first time I saw Our Lady Mary. It is when I was invited by a friend to worship in the Saint Sacrament that Mary appeared. I was taking the Holy Sacrament and worshipping when I saw from the sky like a lightning that descended to the feet of the statue of Mary. I was stunned to see this light. I thought I was hallucinating, when from the light emerged Our Lady Mary, that is depicted in statue. I recognizes her because she was exactly the way she is depicted in the Catholic Church. She was dressed in her Marial garment, which is blue at the front and white at the back. The Queen of Heaven had light skin. I could not see her hair because she was wearing a veil. She spoke to me in a feminine voice. Instead of calling me by my surname Lazarus, she preferred to call me to my other name Junior. It seems that she did not like the name of Lazarus, who was the friend of Jesus Christ. Mary said to me, "I have come because I heard the prayers of the people that are praying with you. I heard the prayer of the woman over there, that always light up the candle for me, and I have brought her blessing." She was asking me, "And tell the other woman over there, that is asking me for a baby, that I have answered her prayer." Mary also answered the prayer of another brother who was doing rosary prayer with us. These Catholic adepts heard this message of Mary. They were joyful, singing and crying to learn that Our Lady Fatima has answered their prayer. I realized that all the people here did not see Mary and that I was the only one that saw her. The Catholic don't understand that Mary is not the mother of Christ. She is the principality of world religion, the most dominant fallen angel that was worshipped by many ancient civilization, and she has a kingdom in the space. She is one of the prime minister of Lucifer. Only fallen angels that called prime ministers of Lucifer, and they all have kingdoms. I really wanted to devote myself to Mary. Thus, my first consecration consisted of giving her my heart. After my first consecration to Mary, whenever I found myself among Catholic believers in prayer, Mary was appearing in order to give me messages for each one of them. I began to hear her voice all the time, and I began to tell people what will happen in their lives. Whenever someone passed before me, I saw what will happen in his life. Then I did my second consecrations to Mary. This was the consecrations of my will, my feet, my hand and my senses. This was supposed to enable her to use them as instrument. In the consecration prayer we told Mary, I am consecrating to you my eyes so that you can see through my eyes, you can speak through my mouth, walk through my feet to evangelize, use my hand to touch. After this consecration I was inhabited in my left side by Mary, who possessed my left side that has become spiritual in a permanent way. I mean, my left eye was open in permanent way to see the spirit world, and my right eyes enable me to see the physical. After this consecration I got deeper in virgin worship. I began to see Mary more often, and she sent me to all the parish that bear her name in the city to conduct the midday mass. Parish such as Our Lady of Ascension of Kumasi, Our Lady Fatima, the Immaculate Virgin Parish, Lady Rose, for she descended to earth at midday, and she descended to the mass held at midday around the pulpit. I was able to see her as I conducted the midday mass. She enabled me to see people's heart and intention as to why they came to the mass in the first place, and she brought them blessing. In return they had to offer offering, such as lighting the candle, prayers of rosary. I was in the parish and we were asked to become priest. I was thinking about the offer to become a priest, and finally I said yes in my heart. As a result my spiritual eyes opened. I saw the Jesus of the crucifix coming down and stretching his hand to me, and he told me, "Come to me, let go." When I join him he disappear and enter in my body on the chest to possess me. This was my consecration to the Jesus of the Catholic Church, who is called Christ the King, who is born on the 25th of December, where he is honored in Christmas celebration with her mother the Queen of Heaven, also called Lady of the Moon. As a result of this consecration I developed spiritual gift and became like a prophet, seeing the unseen. I was healing people and I knew how to pray just like that. I was holding the Mass and the Jesus of the crucifix, whose name is Christ the King, was descending before the people, and I would tell the assistants, whoever want to receive Jesus in his heart, just open your heart and accept him. Those who opened their heart, the Jesus of the Catholic called Christ the King enter their heart. Every time I pray this Jesus appear to me. He gave me the gift of the word of knowledge, prophecy and healing of the sick, deliverance. People were falling when I was praying. Christ the King was Caucasian and had many hair. He told me, in order to advance in the spirit you need to study the lives of the saint, the mystic and the Ben-Hayyas. In the Catholic Church there are religious people and consecrated people. The religious are priest and vicar and other who work in the parish, but the consecrated are devoted people who work at home. I observe the way of life of these people in order to copy them. Finally, I had to do the last consecration to Mary, which was umbilical cord consecration. When I was doing this ritual my spiritual eyes opened and I saw my umbilical cord connecting to that of Mary, and she enveloped me. I became like his child and she began to educate me about the spirit world. This last consecration allowed me to have 1,000 eyes. I had eyes from head to toes. I had 360-degree view. When I am getting to a place I knew who or what they had talked about and nothing escaped my view. I had discernment of heart and spirit. No one could lie or hide something to me. Despite my eyes, one day I saw a true Christian and I was unable to search his heart and mind. Mary said to me, the spirit world was now open to me. I had a troop of angels that the Mother of Gods have put in my disposal. Beside guardian angels I had servant angels. Mary showed me 4 guardian angels that went with me wherever I went. Their eyes were all white like phantom and their silhouette black. She was supposed to tell me not to look at them in the eyes, and one day when I looked at them in the eyes I was seized by a terror that was unbelievable. Often when I slept I saw 2 angels entering my room. They had 4 wings and they were talking about me. I was watching them like paralyzed. Mary told me, all the venerated saint of the Catholic Church are your brother and sister. These saints were coming and we were talking, like Saint Theresa of the Child Jesus, that I was calling effectively Big Sister. This Big Sister had an extraordinary tenderness. These saints were people with spiritual aptitude. Note that these saints were people who died and have become spirit that can be summoned by the acolyte, like Saint Joseph of Italy. He was illiterate and lived in a monastery. He was entering in ecstasy and rising in levitation and altitude in order to observe the Basilica of St. Peter. These people, after they die, they still appear to people and intervene like revenant. These saint bodies are mummified and kept in the Vatican. People traveled to see their bodies. Then I began to study the life of the mystical saint of the Catholic Church because I wanted to go far with Mary, especially the mystic that do exploit, like Padre Pius, who had the gift of omnipresence. He could be at different places at the same time. He had the stigma of Jesus. I studies all these saints called mystic, and I concluded that they had intimacy with Our Lady Mary, and they did special prayer to Mary through the Rosary. I really wanted to become a universal saint. I read books about invocation of Mary. I prayed with 5 rosary per day. Red rosary. The soul blood of Mary was used to sprinkle her blood in the 4 corners of the house for protection. I also had rosary of the Archangel Saint Michael, who is a fallen angel servant of Our Lady Mary. He is not the Archangel Michael. All this got me closer to Mary, and I invoke these angels. I did the prayer called Novena, or 9 days of recital prayer to get closer to Mary. I did a prayer called Horizon. It is a time of silence where you can speak to the false Jesus, called Christ the King. All the saints of this congregation were already consecrated to Mary, and the secret was the Rosary. The more I got intimate with Mary, the more trouble at home. My spiritual senses were awakened whenever I asked question about someone. Mary revealed to me about the person life, his strength and weakness, and his sin.